Hey, what's up, X at the Matrix? Hey, sorry about that, guys. I had an abrupt interruption on the video I was just cutting about the kill count difference between the Serpent, Enki, and Yahweh, the Old Testament God, also known as Enlil in the Sumerian pantheon. And we had just left off with Akhenaten, Pharaoh Akhenaten, also known as Moses in the Bible, and his followers, the Hebrews that are called in the Bible, escaping Egypt and taking the Ark of the Covenant with them. And of course, we were talking about their path of warfare and destruction at the behest of Yahweh that was carried out on all of the city states and the villages and the towns that happened to fall in their path. And this path to carve out their own land out amongst the land of others that already lived in those lands. And this was all directed by Yahweh. And we don't know for sure, but, ballpark figure, we're probably looking at hundreds of thousands of deaths of men, women, and children. And for those of you that read the Old Testament, I just see this was one thing that used to catch me up when I studied and I was a devout follower. And I always did, though, feel something not right in the pit of my stomach about these Old Testament stories of conquest and warfare. I always thought, wow, this God of love, this loving God, this God of creation, um, it was really odd how it just, everything in his path of his chosen ones were just, these were just, it was easy to wipe them away as they're heretics, right? They're infidels. Let's just you guys wipe them out because they don't worship me, and I'm going to bring my furious wrath upon them, you know, by my followers, by my Hebrews, and we're going to establish a new land and carve it out of their land. And that this is all at the direction of this loving God. So, anyways, as you know, these wars went on for hundreds of years until Israel had actually established a land from amongst their enemies, right? This is according to the Old Testament. In some of those instances, God directed them to kill everyone, all men, women, and children. And of course, you read about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. That in those towns, no innocents could be found. No, they're just all infidels, all heretics. All had turned their way away from this God. I mean, why would you turn your back on this God? I mean, come on. I mean, you had really fantastic gods like Baal and such, right? Child sacrifice and all that. I mean, why would you worship Baal and not this loving God? You know? I mean, I'm not saying Baal was a great guy. For those of you that know, that have researched, you would understand that Baal is Marduk, the son of Enki. And he was not that great of a guy himself. He was usually at war with Yahweh over who could control the known world at the time. And there was a big struggle between them that went on. And that's the wars you read about in these conquests of the Hebrews into the Holy Lands. And of course, a justification that many Christians always make is like, well, God said there's giants living in those lands, right? Agabashan and Goliath. You had to kill the giants, man. They're all evil, right? They're all demigods. They're, these Nephilim children, right? But if you actually read about the Philistines and some of these tribes, you'll find that not all of them were giants. They had some giants that lived amongst them that were like their rulers, because hell, I mean, it's kind of hard to like say F you to like some 15-foot tall dude, right? Or I don't know how tall they were. We don't know. I mean, they could have been maybe 8 feet tall. Maybe they were 15 feet tall or larger. There's wide, according to the book of Enoch and the Book of Giants and some of the books not in the Bible, and the books that are in the Bible, there's a wide variety of heights attributed to these Nephilim, to these giants. Now, that was used, I guess, as the pretense to wipe out whole city states of people, to try to wipe out, all these other tribes of people and other lands of people. And it is interesting to note that the Hebrews or I guess at this point they're called the Israelites, right? They shed that name, the Hebrews, and now they're the Israelites, the tribes of Israel. It is interesting to note that, boy, they sure had a rough way dealing with people, right? When they needed these people to work with them, they would sign treaties with them and they would make deals. But then later on, if they, at the behest of Yahweh, well, sorry guys, there were a few among you that didn't give tribute, didn't worship our God. Now you got to be wiped out. Now that we got the upper hand on you, even though we were working with you for a while and you actually helped us defeat some of our other enemies, now it's your time to be wiped out, right? Such a fantastic group of people to live around, and to try to live peacefully with and to make deals with. Backstabbers. Well, this carried on for a long time, and the body count just kept going up and up and up. And then it came to a point where, guess what? Yahweh was just tired of these people these people that had been fighting for him for a long time, conquest after conquest. And yeah, he did throw spoils their way. Oh yeah, sometimes, yeah, you can take slaves. You can take the women as your concubines, right? Oh, ask the Ishmaelites, known as Muslims, all about that. Hagar, right? A concubine. Ishmael was the son of a concubine. Oh, yes. Man, imagine an amazing God of love like that. It's like, hey, man, just go do this warfare. Go kill these people. Wipe them out. But hey, you know what? You may need some slaves. Oh, you can take the little girls and the women as your concubines, and some of the boys you can make them your mate, your servants, right? But the rest, just wipe them all out. Wipe them all out. I mean, still their cattle and their gold and all that, right? I mean, why would you let that stuff go to waste, right? All for the glory of God, the creator of all, that loves all of humanity. Except giants. Kill the giants. Oh, not just the giants, that's right. Kill anybody in your path. Because they're all heathens, they're all heretical infidels. So let's just kill and kill and kill. Enjoy it, folks. Hey, man, he even gave them special tools and such to like bring city walls down. He, all of this stuff that he needed them to do in his name. He directed them to do. And they did it. Oh, and the ones that didn't, though. Oh, hey, guys, you didn't follow all my dictates. You didn't do everything I told you. After all of the deaths, all the warfare, well, I'm going to let you be defeated now by the Babylonians and taken to capture to be made slaves. I mean, man, these people, holy shit. All this conquering and killing and mass slaughter and escaping the Egyptians, stealing one of their greatest probably relics that they had, resources. And then just, oh, yeah, now this God doesn't need you. He's mad at you. He's furious at you. You brought the furious wrath of the Lord of hosts upon you. So now you get to get captured by your enemies, the Babylonians. Made slaves. But it's okay. At some point, he swears he's going to bring you out of captivity, right? Oh, just long enough to be captured by the Assyrians. I mean, later on, first Cyrus the Great freed them from the Babylonians, right? And you know, right, that Cyrus the Great, that the Bible says he was a man of God, a righteous man. You know that he was a Zoroastrian, right? Yeah, he was a Zoroastrian. He wasn't a worshiper of, well, actually, you know what? Many people say Ahura Mazda, the god that these Zoroastrians worship, is Enlil. the god of the air. So that actually could be, maybe it was Yahweh after all. Maybe they were worshiping Yahweh, but just under a different religion. But, anyways, years later, the Assyrians, they captured Israel again and brought, took them into captivity. So, you have this fantastic God, man, that just pulls you out of Egypt. He has you go war after war, puts you into captivity, brings you out, puts you in captivity, brings you out, and on and on and on. This has gone on, folks, for a long time. And we're not even going to touch upon the deaths responsible for the New Testament Christian movement that spread across the world. That's for another day and time. And I'm not saying that Yeshua was responsible for that, because Yeshua taught the opposite of warfare and conquest. But the things that were done in his name throughout the last 2,000 years on the earth is really jumped that body count up. Now, are you going to attribute that to Yahweh? I wouldn't say you could attribute it to Yeshua, because I don't think that was anything that Yeshua taught. However, it was done in the name of his religion that was named after him somewhat. And that's another talk for another day, folks. And I think I probably pissed off enough people here. But I told you where to go research some of these things. You can look it up. Many scholars believe that the biblical Moses was Akhenaten. And it doesn't take a whole lot of connection to read the story of Akhenaten and his followers and how they fled Egypt to make these connections. But, a lot of you just, were following Good Friday, right? And the resurrection and Easter, Ishtar. A lot of you were out there having your kids look for those Easter eggs, right? Ignorant of the fact that those are fertility rites, and and that Good Friday was about the mass slaughter of Egyptian babies. But hey, man, it's all good. It's in your book, and you have a loving God that created the universe, so it has to be right. And of course, killing giants is a good thing, and all on and on and on, and wiping out humanity in the flood, and just nonstop warfare and death and murder. I mean, I want to leave you one thought here, folks. If you truly believe that is the creator of all, of the universe, of everything, and you truly believe that this God picks out of all his children that he created, right? Who are the good ones and who are the bad ones? Do you really believe that the creator of all of the universe actually needs human worship? I mean, think about it. You create all of this magnificence. I mean, look at this beautiful landscape that I have here in my land. This beautiful forest, the sun, the moon, the heavenly bodies. You got multiple dimensions, the quantum field, all of these majestic things, all these millions of different species of plants and animals and insects and fish and such. And all of this was created by this God that demands animal sacrifice, human sacrifice. And you'll say, oh no, he wasn't about that. He was against that, like against Baal and such. Folks, what do you think Yeshua was? I mean, he sacrificed his own son, according to what you guys at least believe, to atone for all of us infidels. And of course, I don't really want to get into the New Testament too much, but let's just say, if his plan plays out according to, what you all believe it will, well, it sounds like, add to the kill tally, because we got billions more that are going into the furnace, right? Billions more that are going to get their souls wiped out. Such a loving God. I mean, wow. So I think my work is done here, and I'm sure I'll get a backlash, and I'll get hundreds of people will unfollow me, and that's fine, folks, because I'm here. I'm reaching the true people, the true ones that can see through all the BS. I'm trying to empower humanity here so that we can put these petty gods behind us, so that we can truly work towards building this realm back to the Garden of Eden, that we can truly connect with the true creator of all, the source energy, the source that empowers us all to be creators, to be co-creators with it, the true God of the universe. Not the petty God of this realm, but the true God. And that's who I'm trying to show you. That's who I am trying to enlighten you to understand. I'm trying to teach you that these old gods in this old book called the Bible, that were based off the Sumerian cuneiform tablets, were not gods. No. In fact, they wanted to be seen as gods and worshipped as gods, but you had warring families amongst these Anuna. And all you did was you chose a side that wrote the book that got you to believe that this character is the creator of all, when he's not even the highest in the Anunnaki pantheon. He's not the most high, El Elyon, no. They balled all these, Lord of Hosts, El Elyon, Yahweh, all these things into one, but according to the Sumerian, which you can distinctly make the connections of who is who in the Bible, Anu, the father that is not seen on this realm, was the highest of the Anunnaki, and his consort, Ki. Oh, yes, there were actually female gods, folks. In fact, Yahweh had a daughter called Inanna. You'll know her in the Bible as Ishtar. And to this day, most of you Christians worship on her day. And you still dye those eggs in her remembrance. And how many of you remember, as a good thing, the murder of all those Egyptian babies? You call it Good Friday. Passover, right? Passover. Akhenaten and his followers, but kill the other Egyptian babies. Such a man. I gotta go puke, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this be what it is. This will be part 2 of this, and I'm gonna drop both of these, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of vitriol because of this. And I get it, folks. It's because you've been programmed. From the day you were born, you were programmed. Probably went to a Southern Baptist church, or possibly a Catholic, or a Presbyterian, a Lutheran, Anglican, or whatever the heck that church is, the English church and such, the King's Church. You've been born up being taught these things, and I understand why this pisses you off, because you've had pastors telling you forever and ever and ever that this is a loving God, and that Yeshua and this Father are one and the same, and that, the Holy Spirit is just like what God's spiritual essence, right? Well, forget the mother, right? Well, at least the Sumerians had it right. They didn't. Do you think they talked bad on Ki? Nope, not at all. They gave reverence to the mother creator that sat beside Anu. At least in the Sumerian pantheon. Now, I'm not claiming that Anu and Ki are the creators of all, but I think it's obvious that there's a dualism to our creation, and that the true source probably embodies the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Not just the divine masculine like religious types would, teach you, and that goes for Muslims too. So, some things for you to listen to, and I appreciate you guys. I do love you, and I wish you the best, and I hope you learned some things and you have some rabbit holes to go down and to research. So anyways, guys, I will talk to you later.